Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. My name is Sherna,
My name is Mikhail.
and together we are Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit. Now in today's episode, we're actually going to change it up just a bit because we're doing a check-in, because we're being real with you guys about our journey. This is a live documenting process of what we're doing. But before we get into that, we want to encourage you guys to subscribe to our channel at Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit and follow us on Instagram and on TikTok because we post all of the live updates for all of our workouts that we do at least 3 to 4 times a week. We're going to get into the meat of the matter here. And that is differentiating between good pain.
And bad pain.
Yeah. What I want to open with is your body often whispers before it screams. And I want to ask you guys, and us too, are we listening to the screams that our body is doing when it is we are working out? Now, Mikhail and I have a goal, and we spoke about long-term, short-term, intrinsic, and extrinsic goals in our last episode. And today, we kind of want to revisit that slightly because we kind of let our short-term goal get in the way of working out consistently, or maybe that's a long-term goal. But one of the goals that we had was to work out 3 to 4 times a week. We missed a day or 2,
2 days.
which means that we only exercised for 2 days during the week. So we're short of 1 day, and if we really feel extra, we push for the 4th day. But we didn't meet our quota, and in an effort to make up for that, we would have pushed ourselves beyond our actual capabilities, and as a result of that, our bodies started to scream. And so I really want to get into the question of, is it pain or is it progress? Because I do think that people typically work out, and I know that you have touched on this before with when it is you're working out in a gym, your muscles have to break down.
They need small tears in there to grow.
Yeah, and it gets stronger. And that's good pain. But sometimes it's a little bit difficult to differentiate between good pain and bad pain. Now, Mikhail and I would have changed up our workout routine for this week, and we did more cardio and leg.
A lot more, actually.
So what we would have incorporated is jogging. Mikhail is the one who actually had this idea because he told me that let's try to jog up cardiac hill. Before you jog up cardiac hill, I would suggest walking up the hill a couple of times.
Get that feel in the place.
Yeah, because cardiac hill, and just like most things in life, you have to crawl before you walk.
Correct.
So Mikhail suggested jogging up cardiac hill, and I know that you guys see, for those of you all who follow along our actual journey with the workouts, we jog up or we run and race on the second section of the hill quite a bit, almost every time we go up cardiac hill. That is good, but we wanted to incorporate jogging from the bottom straight up to the top.
Yes.
And we would have incorporated that in a different way, which is in a form of actually doing it around the campus before we took our fast self and go up the hill. But what would have happened, our bodies started screaming in the sense that we started to feel pain. Now, early on, Mikhail mentioned to me that he had split shins, or sometimes he gets split shins. So one of the reasons why he doesn't do jump ropes or excessive jumping jacks or a few of the other very leg intensive workouts is because of the pains that he would feel in his shins. We acknowledged that and we worked around it. But I had no idea that I was inclined to get in split shins, because when we jogged around the campus, my legs, or my shin, dare I say, started to hurt. And it wasn't a very pleasant feeling.
It doesn't feel nice at all. It feels like if your lower legs want to snap
Yes,
in a half.
that is exactly how it feels. And it was not flattering in any capacity. And beyond that, though, we actually would have done new workouts. So we did the hip flex raises, we did planks, we did standing crunches, and those were new workouts that we would have done. Because we never necessarily did it before. And I remember doing the planks, and the planks were very hard for me. And I get it, because planks are supposed to flatten your stomach. It's supposed to help you with
core strength.
Yeah, I definitely think that. And for me, I remember I could have only done 15 seconds. And I'm telling you, all those 15 seconds felt like 15 minutes. It was so hard. And then we pushed again. We tried to go for, was it 30 seconds?
Well, we tried to go for 4. Well, actually, a minute first. And when we did the first 15 seconds, both of us was like, boy.
Nah, boy.
Let me just go on 45 over. But for the second time when we tried to go up to 30 seconds, which we did.
Yeah. So we did 45 seconds in total. And I remember when that workout was finished, like I was in so much pain, like my back was hurting. I don't know if I was doing it wrong, but my back was hurting. And then we went into dips, which we hadn't done in a while. So doing the dips, and then we did like an intense number of dips. 80 dips to me is a lot. I think doing 80 dips is, you should do that when you have been doing dips every single day leading up to you doing 80 dips, right?
Yeah.
So you may start off with 50 dips, and then eventually when you're doing it, you would be able to do the 80 dips because you would have been working your way up gradually. And it's not like a clear cut, you're doing this intense thing now. And I think my issue was that I was trying to finish the dips quickly because I was in so much pain and I was just trying to get it over with. And that is why I realized that there is indeed a difference between pain and progress. Because if it is that you're going backwards, you didn't work out for 2 days in a week out of the 4 days that you usually work out, okay, that's fine. And you just jump straight into it. You have to know that your body is not a machine. It's not like AI that memory updated. No, if you stop and you pause on working out, what's going to happen is you're going to have to start your body back over from scratch. Granted, it was just 2 days out of 4. And it's not like we missed an entire week.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is we did not meet our quota and our body may have gotten, I guess, sluggish. So going into those harder workouts, especially for a longer period of time, was not the best idea.
There's some main differences in good pain and bad pain. The good pain of what we was experiencing is the soreness in our muscles, and the more reps that we did, we felt the burn.
Yeah.
But there were times when, since we did the dips, the way how to the back started to hurt, we wanted to finish it up. We just wanted to complete 80.
Yeah.
And the back started to hurt. My back as well too, just a little bit, because of the form that we were starting to take. We wanted to complete that 80, but it's
Fast
better
as well.
fast. It's better to complete 40
Yes.
properly and complete 80 poorly, because once it is you start, your form starts to be incorrect. You're not really doing anything much. You're actually doing yourself an injustice.
I want to add something here by saying it's not always about the number. And I think in fitness, sometimes we get so obsessed
With the numbers.
with the number, with the weight, how much weight we lost this week, how much ounces of water that you drink for the day, counting the calories, and then by extension, you are counting how much like squats you're doing and all of those things. Now, granted, it's not inherently bad. But if it is, you're basing all of your workouts on how much, what's the number, how much I did, did I make, did I pass it? You're going to miss the point, you're going to miss the pity, and you're going to basically hurt yourself. And something I want to say is that form is one of the most important parts of working out. Because when you are weight training, because I had a friend who used to weight train, and he told me that the most important thing about weight training,
Form.
yes, because it could damage your back, and I don't think you want to do that, all because you want to do 100 deadlifts. That is not okay. So you need to take your time, and this is us really talking to ourselves, so don't feel like we buffing all the up. This is
we
us.
self up too, eh?
Yeah, we're doing it for us because truly, I think sometimes we get so caught up in
The numbers.
and what it is we are doing, we completely forget that, oh yeah, at the same time, it's about the form and keeping consistent. I know that sometimes it may seem like consistency is more important than the form, so to speak. So for example, when it is Mikhail and I would have started basketball first, I could not do the dribbles on the court, but we were consistent with it. And at that point, it wasn't really about the form, right? But in terms of like, let's say doing dips, that is a completely different ball game.
It's more about the form.
It's more about the form for that one.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure that the workouts that you are doing is suited for the correct form. And if it is that you have to do form for that one, it is done correctly.
You know why, right?
Tell me.
Because in basketball, when you was playing with the ball, you had to get a feel of the ball.
Yeah.
You didn't really understand it, so you were trying to understand the ball. Yes, you're trying to understand the body more too, but with dips now, the body is actually feeling it a lot more. There's a lot more strain on the body, so that's where form will have a heavier impact on things.
Yeah.
And also when looking at the numbers, it's nice to have high numbers, nice to have high amount of reps. But if it's that like it comes at the course of something hurting you, stop. And I usually tell a baby, hey, if it's that this thing hurting you, just stop. Don't do it. It's not worth it. Sometimes I try my best to tell myself that too. If something is hurting me, it's better to stop. It's better to stop now when the body starts to whisper to you when you feel that pain, stop now. Otherwise, if you keep going, you could break down. And it's not nice for long.
There's also something I want to share that you said. There was a moment when we were recording, and I think if we were doing Russian twists, we had like a high number, like maybe 60 or 80, 70, I'm not sure. But when you started to do the workout, you was like, nah, boy. Like, it was so automatic, like, shit, I can't do this. And the beauty about working out with somebody who understands, has shared goals and shared interests, is not necessarily to say, well, you have to do it, or else.
Yeah.
When you said, Sherna, I don't think I can make it to that number, we have to lessen it. I said, okay, you want to do 40 instead?
Yeah.
Because I think at that point you were doing 30, and then we reduced it so that we'll be able to make the 20.
Yeah.
And I think that is an important thing, because I think you were pulling a muscle in your back.
Yeah, because my form was actually bad.
Yes.
And it's actually because I tried to lower my back more, because I knew from the past, doing the Russian twist, when I have my back lower, there's a lot more strain on your core. Your core has to do a lot more work. But something with the back, I don't know what it is I did. That like a small muscle was at the plan like that. I can't be doing all of that right now. I'm touching something wrong.
And that's why I would say that you have to ask yourself, are you building strength, or are you ignoring the warning signs, the flashing red stop? We need to slow down, or else we'll slow down for you.
Yeah.
We have said it and we say it again. We do not like when our body takes a break for us. Because when it takes a break for us, it does that a little dramatically. And we have to be able to know, okay, yes, we are getting fit, but at the cost of what? Because we are trying to be healthy, but not at the expense of ending up in a health institution like a hospital. We also have to talk about the importance of resting as well. So yes, we would love to work out every single day, but your body needs the rest in order for it to recuperate. And I know that sometimes you of yourself, Mikhail, have mentioned, hey, Sherna, you want to just rest on this thing? I'd be like, nah, let me go and work out. Let me go. And it can work as a double-edged sword to an extent. Because we were supposed to work out on Friday. Friday was supposed to be our day 3, but we were so sore from the 2 workouts we did in the week that we were not able to work out on that Friday to make that 3rd workout.
I remember I was telling when I raised my legs and things, that more, I think it was my hamstrings. It was actually just hurting. Like, even when I tried to stretch it out, I was in that quality and I said, hey, baby, let me stretch it out. I was like, my muscles started pulling. I was like, hey, what's going on? I said, yeah, my muscle pulled my back and I needed some rest before I could even like do anything vigorous with my legs.
Yeah. And I also wanted to mention that we have consistently said we need to implement stretching. And Mikhail, do you want to talk a little bit about what stretching does for you?
Actually, yeah. Let me talk about that.
Because you did it with anti-crystal, right?
Yeah. There's like something built up in the muscles. I want to just stretch it. It releases it. I can't remember the exact name of it, but it does that. I know it relaxes the muscles and it takes the tension off. And that chemical is released from your muscle. Because if it is you don't stretch, most likely you'll get a muscle pull. If you don't stretch correctly, that happens.
What is crazy is the fact that when we did day 34, when we did the jog throughout campus, we actually stretched. Like we stretched before, and that was the first time we ever stretched before a workout. And it's something that we are looking to implement more, because I think that a lot of the pain that we experience is attributed to our lack of stretching and our lack of form. So the two of them kind of go hand in hand together. Working out is great, and I love if it is that you have joined on this journey, but we need to make sure that we are listening to the warning signs and that we are doing the correct things and putting the right amount of precautions in place so that we don't end up in the hospital. So I really want to encourage you all to have balance. Balance is the most important thing in the world. You cannot have more of one thing and less of another. Why? Because you'd be out of balance, and that's not something that we support and we promote. Because balance is the most important thing in the world. So don't confuse rest, as in you resting, with being weak. Because I do think sometimes when it is you're working out, you're telling yourself, oh gosh, I can't miss a day, because if I miss a day, then I'm weak, apathetic, I can't do it. Wake up, just go and work out. What happened? You can't really talk to yourself like that. That's not nice.
Awakeness to yourself.
It really is. And discomfort can be growth, but you can't necessarily ignore the real pain that you are feeling.
Correct.
So if it is that you know that your schedule, for your personal schedule, you cannot work out 4 days straight during the week, don't do it. If you know you need to take 2 or 3 rest days, take 2 or 3 rest days, because it's about building your body up to where you want it to be. Because if you don't do the necessary small steps, you will never be able to make big steps.
Yeah.
And something else that I wanted to mention as well is the modification of exercises. Now, Mikhail and I do Russian twists, and Mikhail does it completely different from me. I do it with slightly lifting my legs, and Mikhail does it with his legs flat on the ground, on the surface that we are doing the Russian twist on. And I have noticed that it is a little bit more difficult for me to do it with my legs tilted off the ground or raised off of the ground. It's just a harder push. And that doesn't mean that Mikhail's workout is any less intense than mine. It can be just as intense, because modified workouts aren't necessarily to say that you can't really do the full thing and you're not really doing it.
Yeah.
Because you could do a half push-up is still a push-up. I mean, it's half of a push-up, just as doing Russian twists is. Either the modified way or the intense way is still a Russian twist, and it's still targeting the same areas of your body. So again, if it is that you know that you are not at a certain point and you're still taking your baby steps, don't be a superhero like me and then hurt your back doing Russian twist and then complain, you know? And you have to be able to understand, because I remember telling you, Mikhail, you're not doing the Russian twist properly. It's not necessarily about doing real or fake. Yes, it's fun to do it with somebody, but you're not competing. And I totally forgot that we're not competing with each other. And it's more so about working hand in hand together.
I want to say something too, that some exercises, like Russian twists, think of it like a math equation.
Right.
There are different ways to solve it,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Right. There's a long way, there's a short way, there's some way where the smart kid will do it in class, something like that, and be like, how does they end up doing it? And they get the same result, or even like a more accurate result. And the way how it is I did it, I learned to do it on to have my feet down. You learned to do it with
The feet up.
I probably just have to do like 1 or 2 more reps for it just to feel as like my legs are up. And by the end of the day, you're still working on your core. It's the same exercise. It's just the way how it is that we learned it together. That's what it is.
I kind of want to do like a honest check-in ourselves now. I want to ask you, how did you feel this week? That's both like mentally and physically doing your workouts.
I feel good about running. I love the running. That was something completely different than what we used to do.
Did you feel like you pushed yourself too much this week?
Nah, I don't feel like I pushed myself too much this week.
Did you feel like you didn't push yourself enough?
I probably felt that way too. Because I used to run further distances than that. And I tried to run it more. And my shins also started to hurt.
Yes.
And I was like, wait, boy, I can't be doing all of this all the time, boy, this so. And I realized that, while my body now, it has the endurance to be doing these things, running on that surface. Because the ground we were running on wasn't flat. It wasn't flat, it wasn't soft, like running around the field.
Yeah.
And my body was like, nah, boy, my shins started to hurt, man. And I felt a bit disappointed with that. But the same time, I felt proud because I actually did it.
Yeah,
I actually did it.
It really is about celebrating the small wins, right? So yes, we made some mistakes. We did our boo-boos, but at the end of the day, we are still working and trying our best to do better.
Yeah.
Me personally, I felt a bit hurt in terms of like my physical body was hitting. I felt pain. Okay. I felt soreness and stuff like that. But like mentally, I was telling myself that I love working out so much. There was even a moments where I told myself that I could not do jump ropes. I think it was day 34 when we were doing all of the workouts at the bottom of that hill area.
Yeah.
And we were saying we just go back up and do the jump rope and the push-ups after. But by the time we had finished, we were already so tired and so burnt out we couldn't. And it was not a matter of us pushing and saying, nah, we have to do it. You have to do it for the video. We don't ever do anything for the video. We do our workout for the purpose of working out to ensure that we are healthy and that we are okay. And that's something that I enjoy because we never want to take away from the actual sessions that we have together. Yes, we are documenting it, but we're not living for the documentation. The documentation is kind of living through us to an extent, like as we are documenting it.
Yeah.
I felt proud of that, and mentally I was very happy that we were able to push when needed, because we could have easily done one workout for the week or no workout for the week. But we said, let's at least try to get something in. So if it is you're listening to this podcast and you're telling yourself, oh gosh boy, I only work out once a week, that's fine. Beyond that, Mikhail and I walk a lot. When it is that, let's say we're going out, we take our watches with us and we ensure that we are tracking our steps that we're doing.
Who makes the most steps? Okay.
Yeah, we usually see who makes the most steps, and it's me. And he might say it's because I have shorter legs. Yeah. It's because I'm better.
Nah, not shorter legs. Yeah, shorter legs.
Yeah. So as we kind of like wrap up the conversation, I really want to talk about the ego trap in fitness. And this is kind of like understanding the pressures that may come from documenting your journey, which we spoke about a bit, keeping up with the urge of showing what we're doing. But I really want to encourage listeners to know that fitness is a long game. So don't let your ego, much like me, get in the way what it is you are doing. Because sometimes it's very easy to say, well, we have to do it this way. Or no.
We have to do 3 days. We have to do 4 days. Baby, we have Friday, we could use that day too, but not all the time we should be doing it just
video.
For the video, because that week too, we did have other things to do. And we were also so on Friday and we really couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Because I don't like you up on us. We was like, nah, boy, my legs aren't really feeling it. We can't really walk this certain distance, I think, and our body actually needed it. Our body was starting to whisper. And we took the break before it screamed and before we fell down.
Yeah. It's okay to take breaks. We're not necessarily saying you're not allowed to take breaks. But what we are saying is that you need to be able to have a sustainable schedule for yourself. Because we're all about sustainability. And I think we get so lost in preaching, sometimes we forget to practice, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like we would say, don't push yourself too hard, and then we end up pushing ourselves too hard. I think it's just because we're human. And we're still learning, we're still growing, and we're still trying our best to do our workouts. So sometimes, I think like even when you were working out, you had mentioned you wanted to run the whole route of campus.
Yeah, I wanted to do that,
I can't make it.
Very ambitious.
I really can't make it. And maybe when we have another opportunity, of course we can. But we have to be able to understand that pain doesn't equal progress.
You know what's so funny? That reminds me of this project I was doing back in university. I'm like, we showed our lecture, hey, sir, we can't do this, we can't do that. He was like, that's real ambitious. And what he was trying to tell us is that when he told us that he was like real ambitious, something like that, we realized that it was a lot to do in such a short space of time. And it was something now that stressed us out. Yes, we want to reach our goal, but
at what cost?
At what cost? And also tomorrow is another day. Yes, you use the time that you have now, but you also have to remember that everything has to be done in a day. Rome wasn't built in a day, you know. Rome wasn't built in a day. They took the time to do this thing. Even with the example with the Trojan horse, they waited like a week or so. The Billy horse, they took the time with it. It's also a waiting game. You have to be patient with the body too, because you can't force the body to get up and go. Remember, it's also not a machine. Yes, your body ruins things, but it takes time.
Yeah, and I think that ambition is something that is good to have. But you see, practicality, that is amazing to have.
Yeah.
You can have all the ambitions and all the goals that you need to. I'm not saying to set low ambitions to yourself, no. But just ensure that it is something that you can do, that if it is that you don't reach it, you're not down in the dumps, so to speak.
Yeah.
So my mom always tells me, shoot for the moon, but if you miss, land among the stars.
Correct.
So whatever the goals that you have, be honest, be consistent, and be kind to your body.
Yes.
So as we kind of wrap up this episode, we really want to remind you all that pain truly does not amount to progress. You need to respect your body and to respect its limits, and by extension, your limits. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, this is the only body that you have. This is the only vessel that you were given by God to go through this entire life. Keep it fit, keep it healthy, keep it clean.
Yeah, I remember, if it's that you really want God to reside in you, if it's that you go into a house that's messy, you don't want to live there, right?
True.
Same thing with God. God doesn't want to stay here. If it's that you have this place messy and you're trying to stitch things up together, no. It's better to do it properly for longevity and for the long run. It's better to do that and have God there. Even with yourself too.
Yeah, so thank you guys so much for listening to this episode. Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit is truly our baby project. It started off as a general joke, a squat challenge between Mikhail and his aunt, Auntie Crystal. And now it has birthed into this beautiful project that we call the Mikhail and Sherna Get Fit podcast. I want to say one more thing to you guys before we go. Write in your journal, or even sit and think about, how do you know when to rest and when to push? Honestly and earnestly talk to yourself about it before you go into the next workout. And that'd be great. Don't forget to check out the show notes for all the links to all of our social media handles. Follow and subscribe to our channel. Check us out on Instagram and on TikTok. And we will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.
Peace out.